Abazan. Hi, I'm Durumoko.
That sound, the sound of the combination of explosives, a truck and a transformer blowing up at Apiatsi in Bogoso will reverberate through the minds of a lot of Ghanaians for many years to come. An explosion of gargantuan proportions, destroying an entire community and leaving in its trail 13 dead, and more than 300 people displaced. The incident is said to have happened when a truck conveying ammonium nitride to a mining company collided with a motorcycle and another vehicle close to an electricity transformer. This tragic disaster is one that is akin to what we see in movies. Just take a look at the aftermath. A whole town gone. It's unprecedented. But could it have been averted? Could we have avoided the loss of 13 lives, 13 people whose future have been dashed, 13 people who could have become presidents, headmasters, ministers, judges, journalists, MPs, bank managers, IT experts, the endless possibilities of what laid ahead in their future. But just like that, their lives have been truncated and their dreams gone. Gone like the case of the mother of the little boy who saw her arm detached from the rest of her body when the blast occurred. That image will forever be etched on his mind. I can only imagine the trauma he will experience from that tender age. But the psychological effects of this explosion on residents will not be easy to erase.
Explosion. Home Peter Mining Company for explosion be na near Koba and say motor be cross on. Sorry. Na motor no cross on no. Or try to be defend motor. Nti enu na motor be share ase. Na container so edane. Ti edane twi fuma. Enam say explosion nti no. That one dey fast see. No catch your more omundane. Nti binumu dwane binumu ndwane. Eno na fear or catch a fire, a blast.
Well, some survivors were helpless. We are told that their relatives were trapped in the debris, under the rubble, pleading to be saved. Rescue efforts are ongoing and we are keeping hope alive that many more will be found alive. The National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, the Ghana Police, the Ghana Fire Service and other emergency groups who have been working around the clock to provide relief to the victims must be commended for their proactiveness. But we need to talk about the question of whether this disaster could have been avoided and those 13 people whose lives were snuffed out could still have been alive. Because you will recall the Atomic Junction gas explosion in October 2017, which claimed the lives of 7 people. Have we sufficiently learned our lessons? And that brings me to the issue of how the explosives in Bogoso were transported. What does the law say about transportation of such hazardous materials? Because there are strict laid down protocols to be followed during transportation of such explosives in accordance with LI 2177. So let's see what the law says. It says conveyance by road, Regulation 104, authorized vehicle requirements. A person who uses a vehicle to transport explosive explosives shall ensure that the vehicle is authorized and A, is of sound construction and free from any patent defect and is maintained in good working order. B, is propelled by a diesel engine, and C, is provided with 2 fire extinguishers mounted on a suitable holder that are readily available for use and which are kept in good working order at all times. Regulation 106, hours for conveying explosives by roads. A person who transports explosives in a motor vehicle shall transport the explosives between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. Regulation 107 says it has to do with vehicles to be accompanied by a competent person and police escort. A, 1. A person who transports explosives in a road vehicle shall ensure that the explosives are under the direct control of a person who has a certificate of competency in explosives in accordance with Regulation 32. 2. Without limiting sub-regulation 1, a person who transports explosives in a road vehicle shall ensure that the transportation is done under a police escort. And where the vehicle is loaded with explosives, has posted 44 on the 2 sides and on the front and the rear in red paint on a white background and in a manner that enables it to be distinctively visible from the front, rear and sides, a sign that bears the words "Danger Explosives." So, were safety measures adhered to in the transportation of these explosives? According to the police, yes.
Transport of the explosives procedurally were properly done, and that there was a police escort, and the police escort assisted the driver in making sure that they alerted members of the public. The policeman was part of those who came to the school to whisk the school children away. He was in the escort vehicle and he witnessed what happened.
But there are some who are not entirely convinced and want an inquiry into the incident to avert future occurrences. We're hopeful the police will get to the bottom of the matter to establish how the explosion happened and ensure that the culprits are punished to deter others and avoid future occurrences of this nature. But I cannot leave without pointing out another observation that many have made. It is how people were taking photos and videos at the scene prior to the explosion. That appears to be the trend now. Taking photos or videos has become primary for many people in such situations, and helping to save victims is now secondary. Take a look at this video, for example. So usually when you see people in distress in emergency situations like this, in the Apietia explosion, the natural human tendency is either to flee the accident scene or run into the thick of it to help the victims. Of course, you have to apply wisdom in the case of the latter. But now more than ever, we are seeing people being more curious and reaching for their phone to film the incident rather than helping victims. Are we losing our humanity? When disaster strikes, humanity becomes our patient. The humanity in us should come to the fore in times of crisis and disasters, such as this, now more than ever before.